Okay, I want to talk to you guys about, for me, that I believe the four stages of becoming conscious. The four the four steps of becoming conscious, for me, that have helped me, and that have helped um that has been a big influence from Carl Jung, and for me, are the encounter. The second one is the dialogue, and the third one is the crucifixion. And there's one, the final one. But before I say what I think, type in the chat, type in the comments before I even say what do you guys think it is. You guys let me know. But let's start with the first one. The first level, which I believe is the encounter. And I say the first one is the encounter because it is the encounter with the self. The encounter, the other side that you never knew about. The side that you have held back from the public and even from yourself. The side that you have locked inside of you and have never let out. That's the first one, is the self, the encounter. And it begins when you start to let that side of you come out. You start to say the things that you would never say. You do the things that you would never do. You begin to think the things you'd never thought. For me, that is the first step of becoming conscious. The encounter of the self that you never have let out. And the second one goes right after encountering the shadow. That side of you that you have locked in, the desires and everything that you've never let out, is the shadow. And that's what I mean with the encounter. By encountering the shadow that Carl Jung talks about. You encounter that shadow and you bring him out. The desires you've held back, the words you've held back, the ideas you've held back, you encounter it. And the second stage is the dialogue. The dialogue that you have with the shadow. The conversation. When you begin to question yourself, thyself, and you begin to ask it questions, and you begin to argue with the self, and you begin to become friends with the self. You build this relationship with that self. You begin to question, have a dialogue with that self, which builds a relationship. And you begin to know that self that you long have hidden. You begin to fall in love with one another, and you destroy the shadow, and you guys become from strangers to couples. And it all happens with the second level, which is dialogue, which is key to the steps of becoming conscious. So that's step 2. let me know once again what you guys think is the fourth stage of becoming conscious, and and tell me what you guys think right now in the chat, before in the comments, before I continue. Let me know what you guys think so far of what I said. Do you guys think I'm right so far with the first encountering the self that you've locked up, and from encountering that self is stage 2, and it's to begin a dialogue with that self. You begin to ask it questions, you begin to know it, you begin to form a relationship with it, and then comes the third one. But before, I once again type in the comments what you guys think so far. Am I right? Am I wrong? What do you guys think? And what do you guys think is the fourth one once I say the third one? Type right now so we can see who's right. But then after having the encounter, then the dialogue, then having the dialogue with the self, then comes the crucifixion. And it begins when you kill the ego. You begin to kill both sides, like Romeo and Juliet. Both sides, the shadow and you, the shadow and the self, become one, forming a relationship through the dialogue. You guys form a relationship with yourself with the dialogue, but it becomes like Romeo and Juliet because they both kill each other, and you psychically destroy yourself. You destroy your past traumas. You destroy the way you think, the way you process things. Everything gets destroyed in you. Everything destroys. You destroy the temple that has been built for you, that has been formed by others through their ideas, through traumatizing you. All your traumas have formed you, and through the dialogue and knowing it, you destroy it. You put yourself in the crucifixion. You put yourself in the cross, and you are the ultimate sacrifice. Through the dialogue, you destroy it. You destroy your self-identity. You destroy who you were to become. You destroy it to become. You destroy that by having the dialogue, and then through the dialogue you have the crucifixion, where you put yourself in the cross and destroy the past traumas, the way you think, the way you moved in life. It all gets sacrificed. And I gave you a hint already, but I'm about to release the fourth cycle, the fourth stage of consciousness. But that was already the crucifixion. That's the third stage, where you're in the cross, and you sacrifice the self and destroy. This is the crucifixion is also destroying the destruction of the ego. Through the dialogue, you start to realize that you must sacrifice to destroy the ego. You begin to destroy the ego because you start attacking the other one. but also loving it. So that's what I mean by Romeo and Juliet, that you start loving to know thyself, you start loving that process, but you start to destroy it by destroying the past traumas, the past problems once again, the way you think, the way your all your ideology gets destroyed. The things you've thought of get destroyed, and you destroy the temple, and that's the crucifixion. Fourth stage is what do you guys think? The fourth stage is the rebirth, where you begin to be born again. After destroying the ego and the self, you reach the rebirth, enlightenment, where you start to rebuild again. You start to lay the foundations and you build your temple again. You begin the way you think again, the way you act again. And not just that, the reason why it's the rebirth and it plays with enlightenment is because you begin to forgive, you begin to love, you begin to live. And by destroying the ego, you begin once again to forgive your nemesis, your brother who did you wrong. You begin to forgive family members, your enemies. And you have no enemies because you've reached rebirth, enlightenment, and you begin to love and not live for yourself, but you live for everybody. And you start to notice that you start to help others, you start to forgive others, you start to help yourself, and it's not like you're not gonna help yourself or have thoughts of yourself. It's just that you start to move in life in ways where you're helping everybody and even yourself. And Jesus is the perfect example of this. He was moving through life not only pleasing the Father, but pleasing the people around him. And naturally he was uplifted over the average man. And it's because he had the rebirth by destroying the ego. Rudolf Steiner teaches the psychology of Christ in the book of The Mystery of Golgotha. Rudolf Steiner talks about the psychology of Christ, of how he destroyed the ego. And I love the way he puts it into play, puts in an example of a dark light in you, that is your ego. And Christ was able to deny the ego and never let it play. So he paints it in your mind by painting a picture that your ego's this dark light, this dark force in you, and Jesus never let it come out. So therefore the ego left him. That's what he says. Rudolf Steiner says the ego left him and the light within him illuminated, and he was only light. That's enlightenment. And once again, when you reach the rebirth and enlightenment, you begin to love the people around you You begin to work for them and for yourself. Like it all comes, like your whole environment, the way you move, play, starts to shape the way you move, just like Jesus. And those are the 4 stages, I believe, to reaching consciousness. Consciousness. So, to bring it back, it's the encounter with the self, with the other side of the self. Then comes the dialogue with the self. From there comes the crucifixion, the death of you, the death of the self. And final stage is the rebirth of the self, the rebirth of enlightenment. Let me know what you guys thought of the 4 stages and what you guys think is right and wrong, and put these into play and let me know down in the comments. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.